Hello, everyone. It's Crispy Patty. Did I ever tell you how lucky you are? Well, if you don't believe it, I picked a book for you to tell you. It's called Did I Ever Tell You How Lucky You Are by the notorious Dr. Seuss. Look at this guy sitting on a cactus, all peaceful, all zen. Well, let's jump into it, as they say. This book with love is for Phyllis the Jackson. Here we go. When I was quite young and quite small for my size, I met an old man in the desert of Dries. And he sang me a song I will never forget, at least, well, I haven't forgotten it yet. He sat in a terribly prickly place, but he sang with a sunny, sweet smile on his face. When you look, things are bad. Oh, see, I got snagged already. When you think things are bad, when you feel sour and blue, when you start to get mad, you should do what I do. Just tell yourself, Ducky, you're really quite lucky. Some people are much more, oh, ever so much more. Oh, muchly, mooch, more unlucky than you. Be glad you don't work on the Bunglebung Bridge that they're building across Boober Bay at Bum Ridge. It's Troublesome World. All the people who are in it are troubled with troubles almost every minute. You ought to be thankful, a whole heaping lot, for the places and people. You're lucky you're not. Whoa, look at all that's going on here. Just suppose, for example, you lived in Gazayat and got caught in that traffic on Zayat Highway 8. Oh, have you ever been stuck in traffic? Look what's going on here. Or suppose, just for instance, you lived in Gazare with your bedroom up here and your bathroom up there. Oh, look at that. If you had to go to the bathroom, you got to go from there all the way down and back up to here, I believe is what they're saying. Suppose you, just suppose, you were poor Herbie Hart, who has taken his thrombulator apart. He never will get it together, I'm sure. He never will know if the gick or the gore fits into the scrutch, scrooks, scrux, or the snore. Oh my goodness. Yes, Ducky, you're lucky you're not Herbie Hart, who has taken his thrombulator apart. Oh my goodness. See what's taken apart? I feel like that was like I couldn't even, my ability to speak was taken apart. That's what Dr. Seuss does. Think, they work you too hard? Think of poor Allie Sard. He has to mow grass in his uncle's backyard, and it's quick-growing grass, and it grows as he mows it. The faster he mows it, the faster he grows it, and all that his stingy old uncle will pay for his shoving that mower around in that hay is the piffless pay of 2 ducats a day, and Allie can't live on such piffless pay. So, you imagine forever mowing the lawn? He has to paint flagpoles on Sundays and grooves. How lucky you are you don't live in his shoes. My goodness, so he mows all the time, and then on the Sunday he paints flagpoles. And poor Mr. Bix, every morning at 6, poor Mr. Bix has his born fin to fix. It doesn't seem fair, it doesn't seem right, but his borfin just seems to go schlump every night. It schlumps in a heap, sadly needing repair. Bix figures it's due to the local night air. It takes him all day to unschlump it, and then the night air comes back and it schlumps once again. So don't you feel blue, don't get down in the dumps. You're lucky you don't have a borfin that schlumps. Interesting, huh? A borfin that schlumps. And while we are at it, consider the Schlotz, the crumple-horned, web-footed, green-bearded Schlotz, whose tail is entailed with unsolvable knots. If he isn't mulchy, more worse off than you, I'll eat my umbrella. That's just what I'll do. See those knots? And you're lucky indeed you don't ride on a camel. To ride on a camel, you sit on a whammel. A whammel, you know, is a sort of a saddle held on by a button that's known as a faddle. And boy, if your old whammel faddle gets loose, I'm telling you, ducky, you're gone like a goose. Woo. And poor Mr. Potter, T-crosser, I daughter. He has to cross T's and he has to dot I's in an INT factory out in Van Nuys. Can you imagine? Dotting I's and crossing T's as a career? Oh my goodness. Oh, the jobs people work at. Out west near Hotch. There's a Hotcher, bee watcher. His job is to watch, is to keep both eyes on the lazy town bee. A bee that is watched will work harder, you see. Well, we watched and he watched, but in spite of his watch, that bee didn't work any harder, not Mowatch. So then somebody said, our old bee watching man just isn't bee watching as hard as he can. He ought to be watched by another Hotcher. The thing that we need is a bee watcher. Well, so they need someone to watch him as he watches the bee. Oh boy. The bee watcher watched the bee watcher. He didn't watch well, so another watcher had to come in as a watcher. And today all the Hotchers who live in Hotch are watching on watching and the watcher who's watching that bee. You're not a Hotch watcher. You're lucky, you see. So they're all watching him as he watches the bee. And how fortunate you're not. Professor DeBreeze, who has spent the past 32 years, if you please, trying to teach Irish ducks how to read Jiva Nice. Jiva Nice, I believe, is how you pronounce Jiva Nice. Seems French. Gervais, Gervais, Jiva Nice. You want to check with someone on that one. And think of the poor, puffing flugelhorn players who have to parade down the flugelhorn stairs every morning to wake up the Prince of Puboken. It's awful how often their pugels get broken. Look at those horns going down the stairs. Can you imagine? And oh, just suppose you were poor Harry Hadow. Try as he will, he can't make any shadow. He thinks that perhaps something's wrong with his giz, and I think that, by golly, there's probably is. Huh. No shadow. That would be weird, huh? The only time you don't have a shadow is in the dark. Well, that I know of. All right, and the brothers Bazoo, the poor brothers Bazoo. Suppose your hair grew like theirs happened to do. You think you're unlucky, I'm telling you, ducky. Some people are muchly, oh, ever so muchly more unlucky than you. What? You see that? So the guy's hair grows down into the next guy's, and that's his beard, and then that guy's hair grows down into the next guy, and that's his beard. So they're all connected. And suppose that you lived in the forest in France, where the average young person just hasn't a chance to escape from the perilous pants-eating plants. But your pants are safe, you're a fortunate guy, and you ought to be shouting, "How lucky am I?" Look at that. He's trying to get his pants. Oh, did he get his pants? Oh, it did get his pants. Oh, that would be funny, huh? You walk through a forest and there's trees that grab your pants. And speaking of plants, you shouldn't be greatly gladish you're not Farmer Falkenberg's 17th radish. Okay, why is that? That's why, huh? All right. And you're so lucky you're not Gucky Gown, who lives by himself 90 miles out of town in the ruins of Ronk. Ronk is rather run down. Oh, look at that. You see him? And you're so lucky you're not a left sock left behind by mistake in the caverns of Croc. Ooh, here's the sock. Thank goodness for all of the things that you are not. Thank goodness you're not something someone forgot and left all alone in some punkerish place like a rusty tin coat hanger hanging in space. You see that? It's just a coat hanger hanging in space. That's why I say, ducky, don't grumble, don't stew. Some critters are much, oh, ever so much more unlucky than you. That is true. That is true. There are many things that we can complain about or grumble about or be upset about, and yes, it doesn't mean that we don't acknowledge your feelings or dismiss them, but it can be easy to understand that many people have many worse or more difficult situations than you might be in. However, hugs and telling these troubles or frustrations to someone close to you will often help lighten that worry or that load off your mind, as they say. Till next time, I'm Crispy Patty. Keep going on adventures and keep reading. Oh, what did I do today? I cleaned up some old vintage bikes. One was as old as 1933. So that's almost 100 years old. The people had bikes in their barns and they were giving them away and for a very little price. And I grabbed a couple and I'm going to either sell them or refurbish them. But they're very cool, very heavy, very different than what we have today. And then I organized my house, cleaned my house, and then had dinner and had lunch and breakfast and worked. Okay. Take care, everyone. Bye.